Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. It is a Del Toro week here. So we got a director's study on Guillermo del Toro. We're jumping back to 2006 for Pan's Labyrinth. We then have Crimson Peak from 2015, the Oscar-winning film The Shape of Water from 2017, and finally, newly released, not quite in theaters, but it is sitting on your house on Netflix, and it is the new Frankenstein movie. And again, these are all directed by Guillermo del Toro. So let's get Vincent Daly in the room, hear what he has to say about these films. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table, my friend?
Thomas, how's it going?
It's going okay for me.
Yeah, you're the one I need to check in with. How is your week of
Well,
movies?
I made it. I made it through. This is some of the most notes I've ever taken.
Whoa.
I'm usually a handwriting note kind of guy.
Yeah.
But this time I had to go. I just had to type everything out.
You had to go in on it.
I'm fine. I'm doing great. I'm doing well. I didn't watch Crimson Peak.
Okay.
But I watched Pan's, The Shape of Water, and then we watched Frankenstein together.
Yes, we did. And honestly, I love that we did watch it together because I feel like
It was good. We can comment on it a little bit.
Yeah. But also just how that story unfolded, and there were just very realistic things that we both looked at each other and be like, what's going on here? But Del Toro, he is a big-time director now, getting these projects and partnering with Netflix. Also, Pinocchio, of course, being a Netflix project.
Yes. And he's done a TV show for them. Many episodes.
Yeah, Box Trolls or something like that. Or maybe not Box
Troll Hunters?
Troll Hunters, that's right.
Kid show.
Right, yep. I was excited to tackle this week. We're unfortunately very far away from completing Del Toro on the website. So there is a lot being left out here. Also, even just from last week, I said I wanted to get to his first feature film, Kronos, but just did not make the cut this week, more so time-wise than anything. But I think as far as these four go, we definitely have a string of what Del Toro or modern Del Toro represents, which is empathetic monsters, essentially. Monsters that you shouldn't relate to or sympathize for, but nonetheless you do.
Yeah, he does love fairy tales.
Yeah.
Because this kind of goes in with Pinocchio. Mm-hmm. Also, what is the other one from 2022 that we covered?
Nightmare Alley.
Yes, Nightmare Alley. Mm-hmm. Kind of in the same theming.
Yeah.
He generally has, I don't know, if you're watching, if you step into a room and Del Toro is playing, you can kind of pick it out, be like, oh, this must be a Del Toro film.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's where Nightmare Alley kind of crosses over.
Absolutely. And I think Nightmare Alley, there's definitely some of that as far as the messy circus kind of look away stuff that is still presented as just as lovable and again empathetic. We empathize with the monsters in his movies. Mm-hmm. So I'm buckling in because I don't know what I'm in for.
Well, here's what I'm just going to be. We talked a little bit when we watched Frankenstein together.
Yeah.
So
if anything, we hashed out a lot. As far as I don't know if we got.
Well, I just felt like I had to prepare you a little bit. Because, I need to say I'm going to say it off the bat, okay?
Okay. Off the record or no?
No, clearly on the record.
On the record.
Hold my feet to the fire. But not that I came with bullets in the chamber, but I just more so... I just took some notes. Again, I've always felt like I didn't love this guy.
Sure.
Not the man himself.
Yeah.
Just wasn't a fan. And it's just like, okay, now would be the time to actually hash it out rather than just hate on everything. What are my...
Right.
I should present to the jury my findings, right?
No, and absolutely. And if anything, this is a great excuse. Though you may not have wanted to watch all these movies
That's
this
for
week,
sure.
This is still you kind of exploring what your natural feelings are on him and fleshing that out.
100%,
Yeah,
exactly right.
So I hope to hear some nice variance on the Tommy Two Shoes versus where I have these scores. I want some gap there.
I had 0 Two Shoes planned.
Really? I mean, I think joke. At least important on.
I'm thinking about doing it. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it.
Yeah, just to, again, illustrate your own take on it.
No, for sure. So what I want to say right off the bat, so I have one going theory,
okay,
and then one thing I want to say right away, which is all of my negativity has nothing to do about the man himself. I
good.
appreciate how much he loves film. Every actor's like working with him. He's a jolly man.
Yep.
He's a very jolly man, so I appreciate him. I have no angst towards Guillermo del Toro.
Friend of Hideo Kojima.
All of this, you say that means nothing to me.
The creator of Metal Gear. He's in Death Stranding.
And I love those games. I love those games. The hours and hours I've spent playing those games. Wow. But no, anyway, it's cool. Yes, we're all good here. We're just talking movies, and we're talking his movies.
Yeah.
And again, everything I say is coming from the heart, and I didn't want to water down anything, but I didn't punch up to make effect either. Okay.
Okay, you're just connecting the dots on what you feel.
That was a big connecting dots week. Yes. And then that's it. And then the big thing is the theory that I have that I'll lay out right away. I'm going to be most vocal for The Shape of Water, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Okay. One, it's his Oscar film. That's just extra salt in the wound, kind of.
Okay.
But also, it's his biggest movie. It's his, he won the Oscar for it. I mean, I have thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I think we have a cilantro effect here, okay? And I'm going to call this the cilantro effect.
Which I like this.
And I did, folks. I did tell Vin about it. So I just think like there's a certain genetic sequence that some people have in their body,
right?
Where if they eat cilantro, it tastes like a bar of soap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Most people eat cilantro, it's just cilantro. But if you put a little cilantro on tacos and you give it to that person with the cilantro syndrome, it literally tastes to them like you're eating a bar of soap. You can't explain it. It just is. I think Del Toro is the bar of soap for me. I think I have whatever is in my genetics that makes him not poisonous, but very difficult to get down and digest.
Yeah, okay.
Is that fair?
Sure, yeah. I like the comparison.
I can't even begin to tell you how equal I feel about so many parts of so many of his films. I mean, from Pans to Shape of Water to kind of Frankenstein, but I have some varied thoughts on that. And then definitely Nightmare Alley. I saw Hellboy 2 in theaters, and I still remember the feelings I had walking away on that one. You know what I mean? My big, not to mention, he is the poison pill, in my opinion, of the Hobbit movies.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. And that's why I've always referred to this as a vendetta. I know you pushed back on it. Yes, of course.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that's where it stemmed from for you.
Yeah, I mean, what would you actually be hurt about? Of course, Lord of the Rings.
I think, right. But I think hurt. I've never been hurt by the man.
You've been hurt. You're hurt.
With the Lord of the Rings stuff, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
He was, He's credited on the screenplays, but he also was supposed to direct the films and then either had a back out or pulled out, or it was a mutual decision that he had to leave. Creative differences, whatever, it wasn't working with him. But a lot of his stuff, I think, was in there from the screenplay. And I mean, not that I can't blame Peter Jackson and what went on that set and everything like that.
Yeah, I think the blame is also studio for stretching out a one-movie idea to 3.
It's not a one-movie idea. It's a 2-movie idea.
Yeah, but still, the third movie is completely unnecessary.
Lot to be said about those films. That being said, I do think he's the poison pill, okay? Anyway, nothing against the guy, like I said.
Just a poison pill.
And I think that's it. That's what I wanted to get out here. Not punching up, also not going to water down. This is just straight from my shoes to your ears, okay?
Fair enough.
With that, how was your week? Do you enjoy yourself?
Oh, yeah, I love Del Toro. I absolutely love this director. I think Del Toro works in a way that, very simply, like Tim Burton works, but I think he works in a lot better way that Tim Burton kind of falls off for people. It's the same kind of approach of cutesy macabre. It's grim and morbid, and I mean, definitely for Del Toro specifically, a way more violent and adult that Tim Burton ever dips into. But nonetheless, the film's tones are presented in almost a family-friendly way, even though even though the ideas themselves or the movies themselves are really not intended for that audience. So, but yeah, I mean, that's really always been my appreciation for Del Toro, and especially when it comes to his love of other media. I mean, like, he loves everything I love, and he's working with one of my favorite creators of all time. So yeah, that's really where I'm always rooting for him in some way. I think that's also where it becomes a little bit complicated for Frankenstein, that I feel like he himself had such expectations and has referred to this as a dream project for pretty much his entire career.
I almost wanted to talk to you about this. How many of these can we give, not just him, any director? So, for instance, he also said the same exact thing about Pinocchio. He's saying about the same thing about Frankenstein. And directors always have this, like, this is something I always wanted to make. Or I remember as a child with this. And I just want to think, I feel like there's a limit. Like, I understand. Oh, maybe, so you thought about it once? Is that what we're saying? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, listen, I don't know how many credits or how many tokens each director gets for dream projects, but...
he does care about Frankenstein. I mean, from a kid, apparently, he's always wanted to adapt it.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, you see it pretty clearly in all of the movies this week of how Frankenstein plays a role in, again, empathetic monster. That being the core of so much of the storytelling going on here.
Okay.
So.
All right. Any opening notes, Vin?
No. Like I said, more so that there's almost too many opening notes in the fact that we have a lot of his career that we're just not touching. Period. So
yeah, which is fine. I mean, there's so much more to.
Yeah.
He'll have more movies. There's plenty more to cover.
Exactly. But I think, honestly, this four is an excellent stretch leading into Frankenstein.
And the fact that we have his other two done in this stretch.
Yes.
Is a good segment of his.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Modern Del Toro is definitely tackled in this way. And I think that's also where I plan on cutting Kronos, because it's his very first, but it's also 97. I mean, it's a pretty big jump.
I thought it was 92. I think it's 92, Vin.
It's 92 then, yeah. Oh, yeah, but I think Mimic is 97. But, yeah, just I didn't feel like it tracked as far as what we see as kind of building themes and building style in his later career.
Okay. Well, I think that just leaves us with jumping back to 2006 then, yes?
Yeah.
It's rated R. It's an hour and 58 minutes. This is Pan's Labyrinth. Original title, El Labirinto del Fauno.
Fauno, yes. That's
the best I got.
That's Doug Jones' character. That's great. Yeah, well, we jump into Del Toro's career at a real pivotal moment with this film. While he had already made 3 feature films that kind of perfectly fit into the style we know him for, he was also coming off of 2 big studio superhero films, being Blade 2 and the first Hellboy in 2004, which could have thrown his career in a very different direction.
Yeah.
We could have seen a very different trajectory for what Del Toro would become. Luckily, this film was a critical darling on release, with 3 Oscar wins and plenty of praise for visual design, something that will really define our director's modern career to come. And I think in a very good way, he leans into this in what type of projects he chooses to take from here on out.
I think it's naturally him too.
Yeah,
like I can't, you know what I mean? I think anything else would be antithetical to what he actually wants to do.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it would be hard pressed. I'd be hard pressed to see Del Toro just become a studio director,
a Marvel guy.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in these early days. But I don't know. I mean, Blade 2 is a doozy of a movie. And even the Hellboys. I mean, even when he goes on to like Pacific Rim or something like that, he's doing that as a love of kaiju films, as a love of mecha as a genre, that... Again, I feel like in a slight different timeline, we don't quite get that, and we don't quite get everything else that we're going to be covering this week. So,
Oh, no, we're good. I'm just thinking about the day we cover Pacific Rim. Might be the last podcast we do because of our separation on that film.
I mean, I love Pacific Rim. I really do. Pan's Labyrinth is the dark fantasy fairy tale that let Del Toro stretch his wings, though. While it might mix its fantasy with a grim wartime reality, you can still see huge imagination on display, and really ends up feeling like a rated-R Studio Ghibli film in so many ways. In the real world of 1944 fascist Spain, we follow a young girl named Ophelia, forced to move in with her militant stepfather, who, with her new home being kind of an encampment covering a forgotten labyrinth. Existing parallel to this world, however, is an underground realm of fantasy, soon to be lost completely to time unless a royal bloodline is found. Ophelia discovers she has the blood of this princess, daughter of the king of the underworld, and begins a series of mystical trials to prove she is worthy. The real world will become just as difficult as the magical world, however, as war complicates everyone's lives, most of all for her beloved mother. I think, why I would pitch the fantasy is so compelling here is that the real world, if anything, the real world takes up a majority of the run, well, not maybe majority, but
it does.
Larger share of the runtime than the fantasy, is that real world is presented as something you genuinely want to escape from. I think we'll touch on this if we ever get into big series like Harry Potter or Narnia, that as a writing tool, there is a lot of value in selling the escapism. Why do we want to be in a fantasy world versus the real world, and how much that hits with how disparaging the real world is. For Pan's Labyrinth and really nearly all of Del Toro's work, that is elevated to an unexpectedly adult level. Like Pan's Labyrinth just having a child protagonist is probably the easiest to say, like, oh, this could maybe work as a children's film. It is never the case with Del Toro. Mostly when it comes to violence in his films, they completely outs themselves from being a family film, and always with a touch of horror as well that is interwoven here. That exact quality is special here, though. Ophelia has I should specify the real world horror, the what we want to genuinely escape from. That quality, I feel like, really hits with Pan's Labyrinth, and especially in 2006 was so unique among the landscape of films. Ophelia has zero sway over the war, her stepfather, or any of the real world evil we see. And Princess of the Underworld or not, she's just a child, and always operates as one in the story, and I respect that just so much. Magic is something our characters even doubt, even in the presence of a magical effect, because of just how real the threat of the setting is, and I feel like that mix is so tight as a story for Del Toro. I'll be honest, I can't help but really only want the magical side of the story of this, for how imaginative it is. And if anything, I could even use a bit more focus on Ophelia directly in the story rather than the World War II B plot. I mean, it is intertwined,
I think it's weak.
Yeah, I want all of Ophelia, or I want all of this fantasy world, even though that, again, I completely understand the point of the story is the mixing of the two.
Yeah, but I really do think it's weak. I know for me, just the war element and our main military people that we're following, it just feels really weak, and it didn't hit in a sense of, I don't really think we needed them. I think there's enough going on, and honestly, this one I almost find least offensive because of where his brain went on this one and the characters that are included, like the fantasy elements. But I feel like with his films sometimes that we're all just in a very tight terrarium where... Is that the right word?
Terrarium.
Terrarium. Yeah, terrarium. That's the new metal in the new Avatar.
Yeah. That's going to be Avatar 3.
But yeah, it doesn't feel big. It doesn't feel broad. It doesn't feel anything close to anything World War II. It still feels like its own story.
Okay.
And for that, in my opinion, you don't really need to peg it to 1944. You don't need to deal with these guys.
Okay.
I don't need the menace of them. I just give me the creepiness and the weirdness of the fantasy and this girl trying to escape. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, this is basically abusive father. A girl needs to escape.
Oh,
and
sure.
And troubled, kind of helpless.
Or like James and the
helpless
Giant
father.
Peach, where you escape to the fantasy world to get away from the evil,
Yeah, it's funny. That movie comes up later.
Oh, yeah.
And there's something that bothersome to me where I guess in the end, all the military aspects didn't hit for me. And as scary as he tries to make them, I still never actually feel the bite all that much.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I feel like we're living... It's just this enclosed feeling where nothing quite feels real. The real part about this is supposed to be the World War II kind of militant, and it's just not felt. Even that feels fake. I guess it just wasn't doing it for me. It didn't add anything, and if anything, took away from the film for me.
Well, yeah, and I'm with you in the sense that, like, the stronger side of this is the fantasy. The stronger side is also Ophelia as our protagonist. I can definitely appreciate that she is helpless to influence any aspect of that story, but at the same time, I'm with you in the sense that maybe cut some of that B-plot, because it does become almost the main story for a lot of the film.
Yeah.
There is a little bit there that I think, again, the juice is worth the squeeze to create an element of escapism that we want as the audience from start to finish. We want to get to the fantasy, and I think there's a certain brilliance to the movie in that. And I think that's where also this movie is like heavily critically praised when it came out and still till today.
Do you think that...
it's in that mix of the two.
But do we even feel like that she actually escapes enough? I don't think we find...
No, I mean, but we're going into a little spoilers.
Well, yes and no. Just in general, I just think she's not away from all of that enough. That's what I'm saying.
She is in the sense that she's not affecting that war side at all. She's affecting, as a character, her trials that she goes through, the mystical trials that she goes through. So... And like I said a second ago, in my own head, I've always considered this Del Toro's attempt at a Studio Ghibli film. This feels like I'll leave the slice to Del Toro for you, but this feels like he watched like Spirited Away or something like that and says like, I want to do a movie like that. And especially for his love of anime, I feel like he could have learned a little bit from the masters like Miyazaki and at Studio Ghibli, where there's the central point of the story is the child experience. And here, for better or worse, he splits that. He splits it quite a bit. So we've talked about many director-actor duos in the past, but Del Toro has an interesting one in Doug Jones. And Doug Jones is someone that I'll basically bring up in every review to make a point that I want to make in Frankenstein. I believe their first time working together is on Del Toro's 1997 film Mimic. But strung throughout his career, you will see the equally lanky and oddly charismatic actor fill the latex suits of many of his monsters. I know personally he was a perfect fit playing the monsters all the way back in Hocus Pocus when he played the zombie Billy Butcherson. I'll come clean about it. Did not know that until researching this episode, but like really, that's awesome.
It's a fun fact.
Yeah, he's great. He plays the loyal Fauno in this, an ageless deer creature that guides Ophelia through her quest. But he also plays the much more memorable Pale Man, which if you've ever seen anything about this film, the terrifying Pale Man is what you will remember. And, I'll have a lot to say about Doug Jones across all these movies. I will say here, though, I mean, like, it's some of my favorite, like, creature acting. This takes it, what we even talked about, like, way back in the Godzilla special. And, it takes the physical performance to a degree that is so much higher than what could be accomplished in CGI, or what we'll see can be accomplished with even a mix of CGI and practical effects.
The man in suit stuff is the way to go for these.
Yeah, Doug Jones is a gem providing it. I mean, even just in these two characters, Fauno and the Pale Man. I mean, talk about like total opposite performances, and yet he brings them to life in such a way. I mean, the Pale Man is so disturbing and creepy, and so memorable. I mean, the design of it is so sharp. But yeah, if anything, I bring up so much of this point because, again, the fantasy is so imaginative, so good. It left me wanting the full fantasy. You know what I mean? I want
That's where I'm
pure
at.
fantasy.
That's where
with
I'm
this
at on
movie.
this. Absolutely.
Yeah. But my love for this movie is simple, though. It's really my love for all kind of strange fantasy strung throughout it. Even though at times it leans heavy into those real world you want to escape from. This like the trials that Ophelia goes on. That plot structure just feels wonderfully video gamey, a little Dungeons and Dragony. All with the payoff being some incredible costume work that earns its genre as dark fantasy. We covered Legend now going back
A long time ago, yeah.
maybe like a year and a half. I mean, Legend wishes it was this movie. I feel like so much dark fantasy that we dipped a toe into wishes it was this movie for how it crafts it. And it may not be my favorite movie this week, but it is really a perfect way to kick off how Del Toro often makes movies that capture the feeling of a kid's movie while being wrapped in a much harsher adult package. We're going to go ahead and give Pan's Labyrinth 2006 a 75.
Okay, a 75%. And
there is a difference between this is considered a near perfect movie critically.
I don't.
I'm with you in the sense of I don't see that, and I've never really seen that.
It isn't. It is shocking to see some of the ratings it gets.
Oh yeah.
And that's where I think I don't know. Again, I have this thing in me. I have the cilantro effect. But critics, and usually it is movie critics, just they love this guy. Del Toro is loved.
Yeah,
loved.
Yeah.
And it doesn't compute with me. It does not compute. I wasn't outwardly angry at this film, but again, a lot of my through lines of what I see with him or how I feel negatively towards him, it is in there. I was liking but I was liking the fantasy elements of this, and I think I liked the fact that our main character was a little girl. I don't know why. Something in the story that helped me enjoy the film more.
Okay.
But
like the wonder of it, or
I just think it's maybe just the fact that we were dealing with these fantasy elements, and then we were dealing with this child and dealing with that. Something about it fit.
Yeah.
And what didn't fit, and what you're saying too, is just the adult side of it. It was just slumping it down. I mean, it definitely affected me more than you. But I mean, I think 75. That's fair. I can see how you get there because some of the praise is good.
Well, I mean, I feel like the disconnect you can recognize while still kind of understanding the purpose of why the two sides are put together.
Yeah,
you know
sure.
what I mean?
I get that. Yeah,
yeah. And writing wise, I really do want to respect the fact that Ophelia as a child, in just the same way that I want to see a child maybe explore these scary, creepy fantasy elements, there is some value to how truly powerless she is in affecting anything in the real world, even when she brings the magical side into that. So I feel like that's at least tight writing. Whether it works in execution, I think we're both on the same page that I cannot shake the feeling that I just wanted. I dream of this movie being just she leaves the real world behind, a la Narnia, and we're just in the fantasy world all the time. We're exploring the underworld.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's 75% for 2006's Pan Labyrinth. Let's jump to 2015, Crimson Peak. Totally the most on the dark about this film.
Yeah.
Didn't start it or anything like that. I figured I'll let you run on this one. Again, rated R, 2 hours long. Set up Crimson Peak. Tell us about it.
Well, it's our first dip into the Gothic with our director, and will soon become really his comfort style in a lot of ways. Whether you can call it his primary genre or not, Del Toro's projects are all romantic in some way after this. Romantic about the macabre. Most of the time, like I said already in kind of the intro of the episode, folks, in a very Tim Burton-esque way, with us empathizing with the monster or what we normally shouldn't generally. You can clearly see this, though, in Shape of Water and Frankenstein this week. But I would say that same kind of empathizing with the monster in Nightmare Alley and Pinocchio, I still think those elements are there. And that really starts with Crimson Peak. I feel like he's just been, maybe harshly circling the drain on the same themes, but I think in a good way, refining it more and more with each project that comes by. For Crimson Peak, I'd call it a romantic gothic horror, obviously because it's a love story, but also for how the style itself romanticizes every possible aesthetic choice that Del Toro could make. This is I mean, it is in love with a gothic aesthetic. Every ounce of the film just oozes it. We follow the young and beautiful Edith, an aspiring 19th century writer who's always been haunted by a spirit sensitivity letting her communicate with the dead. For years, her dead mother has warned her of a place, but never has heard the name for herself. She is smitten by Thomas Sharp, owner of an English estate that hopes to sway her father in a business deal before being ousted in a string of schemes, Thomas's sister Lucille being his partner in crime. Head over heels, Thomas and Lucille whisk Edith away to their sinking mountaintop estate, where the red clay leaches up from the ground, staining the snow and unnerving blood red. Only then does she know she has arrived at Crimson Peak. It's just like, even in that description, it's like, it's so gothic. It's so like, you can hear the crackling lightning in the background and the bats fluttering, you know? I think while stylistically this is very different than Del Toro's next film, and uses just an entirely different set of inspirations for the setting, I can't help but feel that this is still a practice run for what will be perfected in Shape of Water. This attempts a mix of horror with romance directly with each other. And, I was kind of mulling it over in my mind throughout the week, and I can't really think of a lot of movies that do this. Maybe there's a reason to that, because I don't think Crimson Peak is the most successful at it, and I think I call it a practice run because in that similar vein, Shape of Water knocks it out of the park when it comes to mixing romance and the macabre.
Is horror too strong of a word?
This one, no. This one's definitely horror.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even to the point of just like blood and ghosts, you know?
Okay, yeah.
There's... I know what you mean, though, because you can't really say horror directly with Shape of Water. You know?
Yeah. There's just dark theming.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
But it's more so just like a monster mixed with it. But here with Crimson Peak, it just often feels a little too innocent to really hit. If anything, on this rewatch, I felt exactly what I originally thought about this film, in that I always wanted this to pick a lane and either be much scarier or much more focused on the romance directly. If anything, actually, now saying it, not too different than Pan's Labyrinth a little bit. Going back to what I was talking about with him romanticizing this gothic style, though, some aspects of this film look so beautiful and complex that I feel like they lose a bit of grit that you actually need to scare someone. So many moments in this film, I am like floored by visually what he's able to do, but my appreciation of that is like, boy, I wish I could visit that in real life. It's not actually scaring me. It's not moving me into horror. That's only half the critique, because I cannot believe how much style drips off the screen in every inch of this movie. I think that's where all my praise is for checking this out, folks. Visually, Del Toro and his team are killing it with the look of this film. Absolutely stunning costume work and sets that capture this high gothic atmosphere. I mean, the only thing that would come close would be like Bloodborne, which is yet another thing that you have a bone to pick with.
No, that video game?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to.
You're not going to take another target on your back.
I'm going to piss off Del Toro fans enough today. I don't need to deal with the Bloodborne fans. That crap-looking game.
Oh, man. But the manor specifically has some breathtaking design, and visually just shows the decay of this fantasy that the family puts on, that they try to sell, even though it's, long become a corpse itself. All of the design can be described as maximal. Again, I think this hurts the film in ways that it's not really scary at all. It's almost too beautiful. It's almost too detailed focused to actually be scary. But at the same time, I really love how maximal it is in its style.
Are they hitting you with CGI?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But the CGI is done as an aesthetic to some of the ghosts. The ghosts underneath, though, are Doug Jones. Okay. He plays all the ghosts. The use of red everywhere is incredible, but most of all in this like blood-like clay that oozes out of the home. I love the snow and the rays of light that come through the ruins of this home, and always having something kind of fluttering in the background of scenes. Again, while the style might be just too pronounced to be truly scary, it almost becomes a Halloween decoration.
Yes,
okay.
okay.
It becomes, I don't know what the exact word for it would be, but the style overtakes the purpose of it. Doug Jones, once again, contributes his acting to bring these gaunt ghost corpses to life on screen, and really just some amazing prosthetic acting. He is... there are, I want to say 3 or 4 ghosts that are different ghosts throughout the movie, and he plays them all. And it's just like, I think they're all women too. So it's just really, really great. He just does a great job. This was previously rated, though, folks, and my main issue has always been with how the story feels predictable right from the start. And again, a little bit of that, I think that would be alleviated if we just kind of picked the lane on horror or romance. But at the same time, I really, on this rewatch, I can appreciate how tight and solid of a story this was, almost how I commented on with Nightmare Alley when we covered it. So I think this deserves a slight bump, a bump that might seem a little even pointless, but I think it's important to benchmark it as a good movie. We're going to go ahead and give Crimson Peak 2015 was a 64. We're going to bump that to a 65.
Okay, 65% for Crimson Peak. Who would this be? 65 is like that straight good movie.
Yes.
Who would you say, hey, like, the next few months, you should give this a watch? And not just Del Toro fans, but,
sure.
Coming out of October.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I don't know, adult spooky vibes?
Yeah, I think this movie is honestly perfect for anyone that wants to watch a spooky movie but is too scared to watch horror movies.
Okay, can you give us, what would be a doubleheader?
Doubleheader for Crimson Peak. Probably Shape of Water, honestly, but something from the 90s, maybe. I don't know why I say Addams Family, but maybe Addams Family, no. But yeah, something along those lines of like...
an inoffensive horror, but can still be horror.
Exactly. Horror itself is... It's spooky for the sake of the aesthetic being spooky, not for the sake of actually wanting to scare you.
That makes sense. Okay, that's 65% for Crimson Peak. We're now 2 years ahead. This is 2017, and it's The Shape of Water. I don't know if a lot of people have really seen this. It was relatively successful, but I think everybody knows the name.
Yeah.
Personally. I think The Shape of Water is... if I took a list of Del Toro films, this would be definitely one of the most well-known.
Okay.
Blade and Hellboy, whatever. But this, did this not elevate him into something different?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you're right on the money when it comes to the fact that this movie was something that people kind of had spoiled on them just because the concept was so out there, and they never gave it a chance themselves to just watch the movie. They heard about the Oscar buzz, they heard about the elevator pitch, and that's where they stopped.
See, that's where I kind of think this film is. That's why I made the comment of just like, I don't know how many people have actually seen this.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think it's one of the... I'm trying to think... Did we rent this, or was this on Netflix?
I rented this.
Yeah, okay, same. Okay, but anyway, it's... You get us started. You get us... Jump us into the ocean that is The Shape of Water. And we will definitely take this one back and forth.
Sure.
A lot of my notes are for this film, but it's also how I generally feel about kind of all of his films. Or a lot of aspects of a lot of his films.
Yeah, the overarching, feeling on Del Toro, which I completely get because...
It's consistent.
Yeah, all of these 4 movies are very consistent in the way. So, if anything, the cilantro effect, which, again, I love. I totally get, like, how if you're out on one, you're kind of out on all these 4. I think that completely tracks.
And I think the funny thing is, and we'll get into it with Frankenstein, that the furthest outlier, I would probably say this week, would be Frankenstein.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe not, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I think when I think of Del Toro, along the lines of what you're saying, Tom, I think of this movie, but I think about his love of creature design and how that extends to him loving the creatures he brings to life. This film took that admiration and made it into an Oscar darling. That novelty is why I was immediately sold on the film when it released, and if anything was informed by the movies I knew him for that aren't on the list. Things like Pacific Rim, the Hellboy movies, and all over his work, you can see the influence of kaijus, creature features, and monster movies in the DNA of our director, which is why I think Frankenstein, honestly, really still is a perfect fit for him to adapt, whether my feelings on it of the film itself. But this film in 2017 took all of the style those old drive-in movies had, mixed in a dash of kind of a Spielberg's 80s camp, and made it into what I think is one of Del Toro's best movies to date. I've always considered The Shape of Water as a modern creature feature, especially as it relates to 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon, which gives the visual inspiration to the creature. But more accurately, it's not really a modern creature feature because that's not how the movie operates. More accurately, it operates like a dark romance fantasy. It captures the softness and charm of a Disney film and matches it with a very twisted center, making the story unexpectedly adult. We've already talked about how unexpectedly adult is maybe a theme to Del Toro itself. Maybe that's his trademark. Unexpectedly adult.
That's not a through line for him.
But for Shape of Water, that takes on a third head in being, again, adult in a sexual way as well. This is as soft as the ideas that float around this movie are. This is especially not a kids' movie. We are set in 1960s Cold War Baltimore, following a band of misfits that get tangled up with a secret government facility. Its newest hard ass that oversees it is Michael Shannon, making their lives complicated, and like the movie says, no one likes Baltimore. Which I always thought that was a great line. A little harsh to Baltimore, but like Michael Shannon saying that like so matter of fact to his wife that he's annoyed with in the scene. He's just like, no one likes Baltimore. Sally Hawkins plays a quiet but lovely mute working as a janitor and quickly becomes fascinated with the newest asset of the facility, which comes in a tank under top secret orders. No one has ever seen anything like what's being held inside, and soon the government is eager to dissect the creature to fuel their ambitions in the space race. That is, unless our misfits can act first and get their new friend to freedom. I would say, once again, I get to talk about one of the best creature actors out there, and that's Doug Jones, in a role that finally takes full advantage of his performance skills. The look here of the Creature of the Black Lagoon is achieved by a combination of him in a full latex suit and then CGI done for the face alone, which is something we've seen become a lot more common in projects after this. This definitely shares like kind of a technology space with the Planet of the Apes films that we covered. Even weird one-offs ones. What's the one with Tom Hanks and he has the robot? It was an Apple original.
Oh my gosh, Finch or something like that.
Yeah. All floating around in the same kind of technology of you pick one or the other. You either pick body to be real and face to be fake, or you pick face to be real and body to be fake.
Yes and no. I mean, to be honest about it, even like the Planet of the Apes stuff, it's not like you have an ape suit and then the faces are done. They're just wearing spandex with a bunch of dots on them.
Yes,
and everything is CGI.
But in that sense, CGI body, real motion capture on the face.
Yeah, but with Doug,
trying to translate real emotion and real performance.
For sure. But with this, it is, when we're only, like you said, his face is CGI. That body is, that texture is real. That suit is real, right?
He's in a real latex suit.
But so he's not doing the spandex with dots.
No.
Only on his face.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Bingo. I would say, for me, this is a perfect mix. The movie needs to sell you on the idea that we might see a romance with the Creature from the Black Lagoon. A creepy, gross swamp thing. And I think all of that is on Doug's shoulders. Much like Hawkins' performance is nonverbal, Jones has to bring this creature to life through his physicality alone. And I think this is somewhere among the all-time great motion capture performances. Dare I say, up there with like an Andy Serkis's Gollum or something like that.
No, I can't get on board with that.
Yeah?
I mean, what's the mocap? It's just his face.
Well,
He's actually acting. He's in the scenes acting with an actual suit on. I mean, these are two different technologies.
Right, no, but it is a creature acting. He's translating this creature to life.
I mean, he's in a puddle. I mean, what is he acting? I mean, he's doing a fine job. He's doing a fine job, Finn. But, like, he's swimming in a pool and he swims up to her and then he's sitting in the bathtub. I mean what it's not like he's moving around. It does not. We never. I mean, come on.
I think he's moving around.
All right. Okay.
He's moving around.
All right. Well.
But I also can't help but love how that makes a cute dynamic for the romance. Despite it being with a monster. I can't exactly call it normal chemistry, but them connecting over music and dancing just feels adorable because, again, it's all shown through the physical performance. Sally Hawkins' character is mute. She can't express her feelings normally and doesn't find kinship with normal people that she meets day to day. So, yes, this is a creature, but the creature effectively being mute as well allows them to connect on a level, and I think that just works so well in being a pure romance. I mean, yes, it is a wild concept out there. Mm-hmm. I'll return to the aspect of, I feel like a lot of people hear this elevator pitch and they say, oh, no, I'm out, you know what I mean? And maybe like, what the hell were the Oscars thinking, giving this Best Picture? I think really once you watch the movie, it sells you on the idea of the romance because of this dynamic, because of the physical performance between these two. Mm-hmm. So I would say, this is yet another soundtrack that I really only compounds my love for the film. I know you said you didn't feel the best about the soundtrack.
It's not just the soundtrack itself. It's the way it's used throughout the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it plays a huge part with me and through almost like all of his films, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to?
Yeah, it's... let me stretch here. No. I just have a big music portion here because I know that... I guess we'll just get into it now. Okay, so his theming is very much his carnival-type theming, which is through a lot of his films. Not that it's all just carnival music.
Okay.
But the way it kind of... It has a gnawing effect on me. And I find it to fall flat and basically just come across as droning background music.
Okay.
So rather than music and sounds that enhance the film, I find them to be way too present when they shouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
And then too repetitive, and it's not properly diverse enough within the film, okay? Look at Edgar Wright, who we're going to be covering next year with him and Baby Driver. So he makes the music integral to the film, and it's literally used as an additional character practically.
Yeah.
And it's adding emotion, and he adds to the flow of the film, okay? Take Dunkirk. You have the score. You have a great swelling score. It envelops you in that film. But so much of the actual music for the film comes from the actual ticking of Chris Nolan's watch. Right? And then from that...
In Dunkirk.
Yes, in Dunkirk. And then throughout the film, it just grows on that and grows. And it's great for building tension. It complements what's happening on the screen. Look at Blade Runner 2049, okay? It's nothing complicated and is most closely to The Shape of Water in these examples because it's really just a movie that needs some music basically in the background. It's not actually playing a character like the others do, but it gets down the atmosphere and it's putting you in the world, but it's not being overly present in the middle of the scenes, and it just helps set up the world. And it's not being upfront for scene. It's being upfront for scene changes, but mid scenes it's settling down. Del Toro in these movies, but especially The Shape of Water, it comes across as almost unimpressive, okay? And the fact that he won the Oscar for music on this is bothersome because you think he's got the sounds down, the score down, the theming and the atmosphere down, which he does. I'm like, hey, I'm saying he's got it. Okay, you start the score, it makes sense for the film. But then another 10 minutes go by, and then another 10 minutes go by, and then an hour goes by of kind of the same exact thing, and it turns into droning one note. It's disconnecting mush that eventually takes you away from the film. It actually makes it come across amateurish. Because
Wait. Would you like to connect the dots on what these examples? Because there is a thread between the movies that you give examples
Thank you for picking
to.
it up.
Yeah, but I think that might need to be spelled out a little bit more.
Yeah, because Baby Driver, Dunkirk, and Blade Runner 2049 also came out in the same year and could have won better for music and also just for best picture.
Yeah, definitely sweeping.
But thank you for picking that up, Vin. But anyway, I mean, it's just
seemingly disconnected.
It just, I don't know. You listen to it and it's like, yeah, in the first 5 minutes, you're going, Del Toro's got it right here. You know what I mean? He's got it. But it's so constant. It's the exact same thing over and over and over again. It's very annoying. And I don't care how much you get it. When you drown it out constantly, my go-to, but what is my analogy here is, yes, you need water to cook rice. But you use too much water, you have mushy rice. That's what I have to say about his music. And I feel the exact same way about that. What is the actual carnival film that I can't remember?
Nightmare Alley?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Same deal with the music. I couldn't stand the music because at the point, stop hitting me with the same thing over and over. I could almost be down with what you've got, what the composer came up with, and that you approved. I'm there for it. But like, mix it up. Be better through cutscenes. Be better during the scenes. It's droning. He needs to shut up a little bit more and change things up. That's all.
Well, to be fair, I don't think the blame in that regard is on Del Toro.
That's what it is. Del Toro.
No, it's Alexander Desplat. I always forget how to pronounce his name. He's the guy that works on Wes Anderson films, and he was the composer on this.
But that's what I'm saying. The individual song itself and the score is fine. It's how you utilize the music throughout the movie.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you've definitely said similar things when it comes to like you don't appreciate overly loud music. We talked about this with like the John Williams stuff on the Superman episode, where it's like I
get different shit with John Williams, at least throughout a single movie. Sure, I think he's he's got bells sometimes, and it's too kitties sometimes.
right.
But at least he's responding to things happening in the film. And I'm okay, this is a movie. Del Toro is doing that to an extent. But I can't tell you, I'm just watching a normal scene, and I just want to watch this scene. I don't need that same score playing at the same volume.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like background music. It starts to sound like droning elevator music.
Okay. Interesting.
And for some reason, it takes me out. It takes the seriousness away from whatever is going on screen, in my opinion.
To be fair, there is... I feel like this movie is very lighthearted in its threat. You know, I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's where I think, again, with Crimson Peak, there's a practice run going on there with how he's mixing these tones. I don't really feel at threat of anything in this film. It is always a band of misfits trying to, get this monster out, almost adventure themes, almost E.T. And that's where I come to with with the Spielberg connection.
Yeah.
So I think my appreciation for this soundtrack, though, is that I do think it really is like a flawless match for the film's tone. I can kind of get what you're saying as far as maybe it's too loud or how it's implemented in the scenes is, gets old.
Yeah. I do think it's a little basic, too, but that's fine. That's up to interpretation.
Yeah. I mean, I think, personally, my appreciation of this, I mean, the kind of the French-sounding romanticism of it definitely plays into the character with Sally Hawkins and, the type of, movies and music that she's watching. It's got this, like, odd and peculiar curiosity, if anything, just to kind of try to sell us a little bit on, like, it's going to be a little weird as far as the romance goes. I think most of all, though, where I really do love it as it relates to our characters is just like a feeling of like hopefulness that these characters, yes, they're misfits. Yes, they're all in kind of like ruts in their lives. Happiness can still be found for these characters and that they're all like pulled together by this adventure. That's really my appreciation of the film or of the soundtrack specifically. And I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about Desplat's? Again, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
That's kind of how I say it. It's fine.
Yeah. I've never heard him like speak or anything like that. But how do you feel about his work in Wes Anderson movies?
Yeah, good.
Okay, but I mean, similar as like you don't think like they're selling the tone or like
no, because again, it's up to Anderson how he wants to kind of let that. They work on it together. It's a joint project usually between the Del Toro between the director and composer.
Sure.
So again, it's not exactly this. I mean, like I said, I think the song's a little bit basic, but that's not really where my issue comes with it. It's how it's used throughout the film, which comes down largely to where the director wants and how he wants it thrown in there, volumes and things like that.
Sure.
So with Wes Anderson is such a precise man. That's totally different. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I would say so much of these ideas in the romanticism of the music and like kind of this moment of discovery really extends to every inch of the film, and I feel like that's where, again, it's very tightly woven together. This cast of misfits all alone in some way, and whether they can find happiness on their own or not, they still help each other. Octavia Spencer is I feel consistently hysterical in this. She has so many great one-liners. I was shocked to hear that you didn't love the acting performances in this. And believe me, I get where you're coming from as far as it's not selling you on the characters because they are maybe a little cartoony, cartoony depictions of who these characters' roles should be in it. But Octavia Spencer, I really, I loved her in this. Richard Jenkins, a face that I always like to see, brings a performance outside of his comfort zone, but still supports everything that the story is going for. And even, how much of a cartoony Disney villain Michael Shannon is in this, I feel like it just illustrates how ignorant you would have to be to stop what is so gentle and good-natured about this. I mean, he is a cartoon depiction, I made the comparison to you, but to me, he feels like the I forget the character's name, but the Fed in Iron Giant. You know what I mean? It's just he's so arrogant and so ignorant that you're able to just pin him as the villain so clearly.
Yeah.
So I'll end with saying that I feel the same about this. I feel the same way about this movie immediately after I first watched it, as I did when I rewatched it, and maybe most of all after hearing some of the general distaste for this. After getting some pushback against the Oscar buzz. I will always remember a conversation that I had with an older gentleman that I kind of respected his his music taste, his movie taste. We really got along, and he was so adamantly against this movie, thought it was actual trash. So while it is one of my favorites from our director, I can still in some way understand that it might not be for everyone because it is an awkward pill to swallow. We're going to go ahead and give The Shape of Water 2017. The old score was an 84. It is still an 84.
An 84%, which is a very, very good score. Okay, so the whole subject matter, as far as, boy, it's weird, this girl's hooking up with the Black Lagoon creature or whatever. I don't care about that.
Oh, okay.
I go for it. I can handle weird movies or weird, I do not care. I think if people are just how did that win an Oscar? It's about the girl hooking up with the fish. That's fine.
That was definitely a lot of the outrage.
Yeah,
so.
I don't care about that at all. It's not that. It's not really the story in general I have an issue with. And everything I'm about to say is going to sound very nitpicky. And it's not just the one thing. It's that when you combine them all, that's where I can't connect with these films. Okay. And I cannot connect with these films.
Okay.
And this one, big time. And that's the thing. It's not okay, this is nitpicky, this is but when you combine everything, that's the problem. It's not if you just take one out or something like that. So I have kind of always had an issue with editing on his films.
Okay.
And I kind of had this, for some reason, Elvis gave me the exact same feeling.
Oh,
and
really?
I even might have mentioned this when Elvis came out.
Really?
There's something about the editing that is slightly off, or I don't think that he stays on his shots long enough.
Okay.
Or the reaction shots, which is just something that's off by a fraction, and it's throwing me off. Okay? But small note, but that's the editing thing. With visuals, a lot of people freak out about his sets and his imagery, and I agree at times it can be perfect. I will give you that. His sets can be relatively good.
Yeah,
and
this works on such a Fallout 50s, Vault Tech vibe, you know what I mean?
Sure, and I like the concept.
So great.
The concept I like, and he's getting some of it, but I still I'm only there 1/3 of the time. I think it's 1/3 of the time he's nailing it. It's another 1/3 of the time CGI that's just disjointing my psyche at times and pulling me out. And then it's another 1/3 of overly glossy clean or this digital look that reminds me of the Hobbit movies, where it's like CGI. There's some glossy CGI about it, and it's something. A lot of times in his sets, I'm looking and things don't seem. They seem intangible, right? They don't seem tactile to me for some reason. And all of these notes
He's
really...
definitely very heavy in his coloring as well.
That can be
Almost
it.
every film chooses one color and sticks with it. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Frankenstein chooses
and sometimes
two.
very dark. And sometimes very dark theming and stuff. But there is an overall look to his films that for some reason just take me out of it. I feel detached from the film. I can't buy into it. There's just something with that. And I will say his creature design is great. This is more so everything else about it. Like, obviously, the creature looks great in this. The creatures in Pan's Labyrinth in 2006, they look great. I'm not shitting on that.
Yeah.
But then the big thing, honestly, with him is when it comes down to his characters and his story development. I find his characters to be extremely simple and, once again, one note. I don't, like, there's no...
I do think that's the point here.
But... He needs to pick a lane, okay? Because it doesn't go. Listen, it doesn't go any deeper with his story, oftentimes, and his characters. So, like Michael Shannon's character of the main, Michael Shannon's character or the main military guy in Pans. It's just like it's okay. It's very apparent what these characters are supposed to be, and
Evil for evil's sake.
You brought up the kind of a bad Disney character or something like that. Yeah, the evil for evil's sake, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's so much...
truly cartoonish in their depiction.
And once again, they almost seem unreal. Even though I'm watching a movie about a girl and a fish, or Pan's Labyrinth, and fantastical elements, it's almost like I still need buy-in here.
Okay.
And there's buy-in that I'm not getting because things seem a little... They seem a little simple to me.
Yeah.
And like you said, that can also be the point, and that's fine. I mean, to your point of adult Disney films... They're not really all that adult in theming or in style or in story development, character development. These are kids' movies. All of these, in my opinion, are kids' movies. They come across rather basic. And then talk about your engagement in the middle of the movie being thrown out of whack when you're in this kids' movie and the atmosphere is there. Then all of a sudden you have graphic gore on the screen or somebody straight up getting naked. It is unearned. I feel like the tensity, the thrilling aspect of it, what he tries to do in his movies, it's all unearned. Like you said, well, that's kind of the point. Characters are simple. Even with the music, it could be somewhat lightheartedness because a lot of his stuff is lightheartedness. That's fine, but pick a lane. I mean, some of the gore pops up on screens. This one and other is Phil's, and I'm just like, I'm just like, what?
The gore is always shocking.
I'm like, Del, what are you doing here? Whatever you're doing, you do not earn this. You can't go from this to this.
Yeah.
And don't set the atmosphere with the characters, with the story, with the music, and then go with it. I don't need to see Paddington Bear's mom get fully naked. I don't need it. I don't need it. But again, it's unearned. He never reaches the intensity that he thinks he's at, in my opinion, ever. And these are actually incredible kids' movies. They're not kid-like films that are for adults, but they're adult-like films that are meant for kids. Not kiddie films for like 8 years old, 10, 12 years old. Fantastical elements in a real or fake world with some creepiness creeping in. Hello, James and the Giant Peach. Hello, E.T.
Yeah.
Hello, Legend of Ochi, which we covered this year.
Yeah, true.
Okay, and this is where it all clicked, Vin. I'm finishing Shape of Water. I'm starting Pan's Labyrinth. You take these characters, right? You make them fully fake, as in animated. You take these over the top adult images, the adult language. You cut it out, and you get Pinocchio from 2022, an incredible film by Guillermo del Toro.
Sure.
He makes kids' films. He tries to adult them up, and it throws me out of whack. It completely throws me out. I'm detached from it. I can't take it seriously. I'm not bought into... Not his premise. I'm not bought into what I'm seeing on screen ever. Parts of it in Pans, like 50% of it in Pans. Basically all of it for Nightmare Alley. Basically all of it for The Shape of Water. And like I said, Hellboy and stuff like that. I can't. There's something there that all it is soap to me. I can't get it down. I can't
Interesting.
connect with his movies.
Well, I definitely, I think you have a good point in the sense of like, if you want this to be for adults, then maybe don't have cartoonish depictions of each of these characters. Don't let them be cartoony outlines of what this character is supposed to be. So Octavia Spencer in this, don't let her just be the cracking jokes for comedic relief.
Make her adult.
Exactly. Give them some substance, even if it's maybe your lead into the story is creating characters that are easy to pin and you kind of move on with the premise. By the end, give them something real and have substance to that character.
So this, I had a note somewhere in there, and I brought this up to you, where I'm saying if he does this exact same thing but does it on stage, it's better, in my opinion.
Interesting.
There's something about these very straightforward characters in the way that they're presented. Because you're right, you have Octavia Spencer, just the most lighthearted, absolutely kid movie character, and then Michael Shannon, evil guy, and you have this gore and stuff.
Kid movie evil guy.
Seeing this in person on stage, I can connect with because I'm watching a play.
Okay.
But when it's in front of me and it's on screen and somewhat supposed to be like that buy into a film, I know I'm watching a film, but there is that thing of like I need to buy into this world at least that you're setting up.
Yeah.
There is something that detracts. So exactly right. You have too many niceties, and then all of a sudden this hardcore stuff, and that's what I'm always going like, what? Like, what are you doing, Del? It's just not working. It's not working.
Well, I mean, I think there's definitely something there to your critique as far as like if he is going to make adult fairy tales, that there needs to fall through on the adult themes a little bit. And I feel like that can be done across the board with characters. Going back to Pan's Labyrinth, the stepfather, yes, he's a fascist. Yes, he's clearly sold as an evil person, but I don't feel like there's anything done to connect him to the evil that he continues, why his character is still motivated to act in such a way. You can say the same for Michael Shannon's character of just like, well, I guess he's just really stubborn, like he's seen the proof of all this stuff, and then he's just still going to continue operating like a Disney villain.
Right,
so,
right.
I feel like you have a good point there as far as like you can start the same way in a lot of these movies, in the same setup of these characters,
yes,
but end differently and end in a way that earns your rated R, other than the spark of hyper violence that he throws at you, or in Shape of Water's case, like very
violence and cursing,
a lot of
and
nudity.
Yeah, exactly.
So
anyway, that's it. That's my main deal with the guy, but it does make sense of why I like Pinocchio so much. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway. I mean, I see, I'll be honest, I see a lot more related to these movies in Pinocchio than I see that Pinocchio is different, but other than just like the medium is animation,
Yeah,
it's no longer a live action
It's
film.
an actual kid's film.
Right.
Sorry, right, but that's kind of the point. That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's much the knobs only need to be turned a little bit in a couple different areas, and I think I'm fully on board with him. I'm telling you, it's just this thing that I just can't gravitate towards. I can't jump into the screen. I can't attach to it.
All right, so what's the Tommy Two Shoes on Del Toro on Shape of Water? Because it's not an 84 for you.
No, it's not. In my opinion, seriously, in my opinion, I mean, the movie's trying to flip and it's flopping, but it's not getting a flip flop. This gets one shoe, no lace is going on it.
Wow.
So,
bottom of the barrel.
That's one of our biggest disagreements. And
That's fine.
And it makes sense that it's him because, again, it's got something in me that doesn't allow me to like it. Okay, so that's 84% for The Shape of Water and One Shoe, No Lace. Let's jump on in to the producer segment because we do have a producer for the week, Vin, and we have our good friend Matt D writing in. So Matt D donated a Space Odyssey donation once again, so we thank you very much, Matt, for that. And he wrote a note, so we'll read what Matt has to say here, Vin. So he goes, I'd consider myself a Yorgos fan, though I've yet to see Dogtooth. Okay. So imagine my surprise when Vin tagged it with a 77. I don't think the listeners...
I was surprised, too.
I don't think the listeners truly understand the excellence of a 77 for a movie like a Dogtooth, so I wanted to break it down. So Matt just wanted to note. So Vin, I realize this wasn't your intention when you gave it this score, but I am the producer today, and putting this is well within my contractual rights. So in the daily ratings scale, an 85 is a broad must-watch recommendation, and a 100 is a perfect film and will never be achieved. True. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely true.
Right?
This means Vinny recommends all audiences that they should watch a film that gets an 85. So a movie like Dogtooth would never get a broad recommendation due to its subject matter and general weirdness. So the ceiling is an 84. An 84 is effectively a 100%.
Listen, sometimes you give birth to something and then the world takes it and they make their own thing out of it.
So he goes, we got to do a little bit of math here. So let's call it the weirdo scale. So now we have a new scale here.
Bizarro scale.
He goes, a 77 on a scale of 1 to 84 is equivalent to a 92% on the normal scale.
Oh man, this is grading on a curve.
There are only 7 normie movies that are a 92 and above in the history of the daily ratings. So if you're into weird stuff like I am, Vin puts this movie at number 1 right under The Godfather. So of course I had to watch the movie this weekend, and it was good, though sadly I disagree with the score, but that's besides the point.
This was a saga. He started writing the note when he didn't watch Dogtooth and then revised it after he watched it.
He goes, looking forward to more weirdo movies with Del Toro Film Study. Oh, and we've got him, Matt. Hope you're enjoying the episode so far. So
I don't know if I agree with the calculus. You gotta show. I want to see your work. I want to see the math on the quiz.
You know what's funny? And if we call this a weirdo movie, you gave it an 84, which actually you kind of just made his point completely. Actually,
because that's the ceiling.
This is 100. This would be a 100.
It's the ceiling, yeah.
I guess. I'm very interested.
Right above The Godfather.
He does. It's funny. He goes. So, of course, I had to watch the movie this weekend. I thought it was good, though sadly I disagree with the score, but that's besides the point. It sounds like he wasn't as hot as you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where I'm at. I like the film.
Right.
But I don't know if I loved it as much as a Vin 77.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. I mean, it's definitely a weird movie in the sense that I feel like it got such a high score because of the specific, first watch peeling back the story.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would feel about it after returning to the film because
I think I'd still like it.
Yeah, I think I would still like it too, but undoubtedly the shock would wear off.
Yeah.
There is a degree there, and maybe I should have noted that in review for Dogtooth specifically. Yeah. Also, a little bit of all Yorgos. Shock value is a big factor in your first watch of these movies.
You're not wrong, but I do think once when you get over the shock, you could be watching it and be picking up on way more of the things that you're actually appreciating. But you know how that happens.
There were very specific scenes though that had
impressed
me
you.
Floored.
Yeah. Unless he goes, sadly, I disagree with the score. He loved it.
Oh, maybe it's better.
It could be. Okay, Matt, thank you for your thoughts on the weirdo scale. We'll see if we keep it going.
We'll see.
It is funny how you felt. I mean, The Shape of Water literally fits into that category in a way.
It kind of tracks.
Can I say, if The Shape of Water is a weirdo film that might eke people out, this is the safest one that you could ever watch. I think this is a very safe movie.
Yeah, it's very innocent.
Exactly.
Other than visually being
gore,
adult.
Right. Nudity, extreme gore, yeah. Okay, Matt, thank you as always, man, for donating the Space Odyssey donation this week. We always appreciate you stopping in once in a while and giving your 2 shoes, your 2 cents on what we've been doing. And folks at home, if you're wondering what the hell's going on here, if you're a new listener or something like that, this is the producer segment and where we thank our producers. So how you become a producer of the Daily Ratings is you donate. You send a donation into the show. You financially support the Daily Ratings because here we're not going to have any advertising. We're also not going to have a payment tier structure or a paywall, meaning you need to give a certain amount of money and you get extra content, or you need to give us a certain amount of money a month to even access our stuff. We don't want to deal with any of that because everyone's on their own finances, and 2, everybody might be getting a type of different value. And so why would we peg a number to it? And that's why we're going off the value for value model. So head to thedailyratings.com, go to the donations tab, and everything is laid out there right there for you. We do have some set donations like buy Vin a movie ticket, but there's the big value for value button there. because everybody's on their own finances, you can donate in whatever amount that you want. And no matter what, big or small, $5 to $500 to thousands of dollars, you are an actual legitimate credited producer of the Daily Ratings. And we want to hear from you. We want to bring you into the conversation because that's what being a producer is all about. So Matt donated in this week, and along with it, he sent a producer note, which anybody can do. Just email us your note at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's our email address. And your note can be whatever. It could be as short or long, kind of, as you want. And it could be questions, comments, critiques.
When are we going to do a cutoff?
Well, we'll see. I mean, the more the merrier at this point.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's going to be a great... So this producer segment, we want to branch this out. The more and more that we get out there and people start producing and sending their notes in, this is going to become a great segment on the podcast. But
yes.
Your questions, your comments, your critiques, ask us anything, say anything, start a conversation, or add to a previous conversation. It's whatever you want. Again, you are a producer. We want to hear what you have to say. So go to thedailyratings.com and head to that donations tab. We are entirely, completely listener-supported here. We are producer-supported. And so we appreciate all of you out there who have been finding us or checking in every week. And whether it's every week or a couple times a year, it means something to us. So if you're enjoying it, again, just send something our way. It certainly goes a long way for us. Matt, thank you so much, bro. You are executive producer of episode 212. And if anybody out there wants to be an executive producer for next week's episode 213, head to thedailyratings.com. Okay, Vin, we're switching on Netflix now. This is the newly released. And as good as Predator Badlands did, had a $40 million opening weekend, Predator Badlands.
Yeah.
Best for the franchise. This got the most clicks and the most watches, undoubtedly.
Even if Netflix is cooking the books, which undoubtedly they are.
They can, but I mean, hundreds of millions of accounts, and they're shoving it out to everybody.
The morbid curiosity of Jacob Elordi possibly naked in this movie, I feel like.
Yeah, sexy Frankenstein.
Got people to click.
So we got together for this one. This is the longest one of the week, and one of Del Toro's longest at 2.5 hours. Of course, it's rated R, and... we talked about in the beginning of the show. He's always wanted to do this, apparently, even as a kid. He wanted to adapt the original Frankenstein story.
Yep.
So why don't you just delve us in a little bit? We'll take this back and forth. I don't have huge notes for this. I just wanted to ping pong of what you got going on. So set us up with Del Toro's Frankenstein.
The modern master of macabre is back, and really he's riding the wave of classical horror projects coming back to theaters, or at least being, greenlit in some capacity. Not only does this fit side by side with Robert Eggers' recent Nosferatu, and Werewolf coming next year, but in just a few months, we'll also get another drastically different take on the Frankenstein story with Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. That's something I discovered, Tom. I did not know The Bride was directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, and Jake is in it.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's in.
Unreal.
I
have no idea if she's done other stuff, but that was just kind of a surprise.
Yeah, she had that HBO show or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But as for this project, Del Toro has spoken extensively about his love of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and if you've seen even a single film of his, I feel like that makes perfect sense that he had to adapt this for his own. However, I would say despite him being the king of making monsters we can empathize with, I think this movie suffers a lot when it comes to pacing and perhaps even being burdened with the expectation that, in a way, his original stories aren't burdened. Frankenstein is a dark fantasy horror that pairs steampunk aesthetics with grim body stitching to retell the classic novel that continues to play a role in so much storytelling in the genre. I am glad that this was made, especially because I don't think The Bride is going to be, Bride is definitely doing its own thing.
Yeah.
Which may be for the best. This, I feel like I am happy that we got this project in 2025, even though I'm kind of lukewarm on the film, because it is fundamental. This is a story that needs to kind of have a modern retelling. And I feel like for a lot of people, this is going to hit in a lot of good ways to introduce them to what Frankenstein is about and how the story structure is.
Does it bother you with how many properties of Frankenstein we have. If you go back through like the filmography and the TV stuff, it is so hit. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's really all Universal is to blame. Same with Dracula, Invisible Man. You know what I mean?
It's just
like
a lot.
Yeah.
Did we? I mean, but you're saying you're happy that we have it. You're happy that we got another adaptation.
I can't, at least off the top of my head, name when the last time we got a Frankenstein anything. I am with you at 100%. Like back in the day, even into the 50s, a lot of stuff there. But
right. I guess blockbuster-wise, nothing. Everything would be smaller label stuff or quieter. So you were right. Nothing blockbuster for a bit.
Exactly. Or that bad trend in the 2010s, and I'll actually mention it, like Dracula Untold and I, Frankenstein, where they were like almost like gritty action retellings.
Right.
I mean, I haven't really watched those movies, so I can't say definitively, but I think they're probably pretty bad. But serving as a modern reminder that Frankenstein is the name of the man and not the monster, this story follows the origin of Victor Frankenstein through his strict upbringing, toxic ambition, and hubris thinking he can play God. Upon receiving funding for his ghoulish project, Victor gets to work in creating a man from lifeless body parts, but is soon blinded by the promise of his scientific breakthrough, his ethics lost along with it. Do the ends justify the means? Victor might have created a creature born of death that does not die, but soon he will find that it takes nurture to make a man, and without that love, only leaves the monster in its wake. I would say, folks, while this adaptation strikes pretty close to the original novel, both what Del Toro changes and what he doesn't change creates some issues for me. The story is separated into two main parts, two main chapters, even though it feels like there's, while that first chapter is unfolding, you have a lot of mini chapters.
Yes.
With the origins of both sides of the story, being Victor and the monster, told exclusively in flashback. While that structure is true to the original novel, is used that as a narrative device. I feel that it was a misstep that unnecessarily burdens the films. He puts a lot more emphasis, for instance, as far as changes from the original story, on the creation of the monster. That's very, very concise in the original novel. And because of that, yes, they still have this retelling story structure, this flashback story structure, but there's a lot more runway on the other side of that we see of what the monster is doing to catch up with Victor.
Yeah.
And a lot more, honestly, understanding the story in full now, a lot more cool and imaginative stuff that I am upset didn't make it into.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
In the second half of the film.
Yeah, specifically around the revenge that the monster takes and how vicious that revenge gets. Really interesting stuff that is a damn shame is not in the movie. I feel like Jacob Elordi alone could thrive.
You didn't want it to be longer, though.
No.
You just wanted that to take more real estate of the film we have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's where I'm conflicted because I think we would both agree that the body stitching, the evil science work of this first chapter is probably the best rhythm that the movie gets in, but that is bloated from the original story. And granted, that's the juice that we want out of this. I mean, if there is going to be an emphasis on creating the monster, it frankly makes sense because that's the juice that any modern audience is going to think of when they think of Frankenstein. They want the lightning coming down and bringing him to life.
Which I know. Have you been connected to Frankenstein at all?
No.
Which, to be honest about it, surprises me.
Really?
Well, just because you like the darker themes and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. I could see you growing up. I don't know, you reading it and you being about it. I know you said you haven't read the original novel.
No.
And for me, it's I can't tell you how much kind of more on board I was. The first hour and 20 minutes, there's something specific that happens in the film that won't get into. And after that, they've really slumped down for me. So getting to the part of the stitching and things like that. Not that I didn't like that, but I liked the development of Victor Frankenstein and us getting to that moment. Because everything's leading up to that kind of deal.
Yep.
What a drop-off, in my opinion, after that. Because you're right, the most exciting... I mean, I don't know, the first 40 minutes did you like? Like, do you only like the middle section? Okay, because I was on board.
No, absolutely. I think like that rise in what I would honestly call the second chapter of the story. It is not the second chapter, but like what actually like feels like the second chapter when he's getting to work on the project. I feel like there's a great rhythm and something that again, I feel like modern audience checking out Frankenstein for the first time is going to want to see. They want to see the "it's alive" moment.
Yes.
But
I would say that didn't really do it for me.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly, the lead up. I like the lead up.
Yeah.
I like the business behind it. I like the getting going type of deal.
I'm with you.
Not that I didn't hate
and
it.
even Victor's origins. I feel like there was
quite liked it, yeah.
set up there that was really good. But I will say the longer we spend with Victor means the longer we spend away from the main breadth of the story being about the humanity within the monster. And this mainly shows an ugly face, much uglier than Jacob Elordi, when we get a total thematic and tonal reset smack dab middle of the runtime. It gets worse because the entire movie is in this flashback. I cannot help but feel how unsatisfying the storytelling was in this through this method. And again, authentic to the novel or not, it doesn't support the experience of the film.
Exactly.
And if anything, unauthentic to the novel is the specific weight of each of these sections of the story. We basically get an hour and 30 with Victor and an hour of the monster. That's not true to the novel, from what I understand. So I feel like that reset, it was a little pulling teeth. I'm not going to.
It absolutely was.
I don't want to throw out the B word, but it was a little boring.
It absolutely it absolutely got boring. And not only that, I think it's again as if I don't really care about the book. Like to your point, it really comes down to okay, but we need to put this into a film now.
Yep.
And the thing. What you said was we're all leading up to that Frankenstein moment with the lightning coming down. So we have anticipation. We're getting excited following Victor's story, knowing that this is going to happen. Now this happens. Now we have the monster of Frankenstein. Really what the story is Frankenstein. Now we want to see those two back at it again where we started the story off in the film.
Yes.
Whether in the Arctic, whatever, wherever we're at. And so now we have this new anticipation, this new lead up. But the problem is we already kind of see where the result was. So we know exactly, even visually, where we're ending up. So can you just get us there?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's weird. It's not a great reset. It really isn't a great reset.
I mean, to the point, this is where I said, like, I was really glad we watched this together. Because, talk about, like, the perfect encapsulation of, like, this feeling in the film. Folks, Tom and I were already joking how silly and drawn out the narrative device was of Victor telling his story to the captain while meanwhile his men are like freezing out in the cold. Like, Captain, like, you said we had to move quick or we're gonna be stuck here forever. Like, it was already like something we were just kind of like poking fun at, like not really like critically like skewering the movie for.
No, but it is funny. Yeah, Oscar Isaac's just giving his life story.
Yeah,
and the captain is in.
Oh like, yeah, he's like he's never had this level of tea. I mean, he is eating it up. And then we made an unfortunate joke that kind of came true.
It did kind of come true
once the monster kind of catches up to the story. And I literally said it word for word. Yeah. I don't know. My jaw was on the floor. Like, what? Unreal. Like, unreal.
It's really tough when you have a big inflection point. I don't know if inflection point, but you have this big inflection point that you're setting up for the film. We know we're going to get it. But that's what we care about. Yeah. And then you set up a second inflection point, and it's worse.
Yeah. And from what I understand, that section telling the monster side a little bit more is
more the book.
Yeah, that's the mean of it.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying flip those times.
Yeah, exactly. Flip the proportion a little bit. I feel like it could help a lot more. I also think like, yes, these two are designed to cover the same thematic ground, mainly kind of being like father figures and like nurture versus nature themes. Yeah, just something there just was like, oh man, I it was a reset. Know where this is going.
I mean, the best. It was able to work way better in House of Dynamite just because they were shorter segments.
What a comparison!
They were shorter segments.
Netflix head to head.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna restart the film, you know.
Yeah, true. It was a touch better in that direction.
Bigelow at least only gave us 20-minute sections.
But yeah, I feel like, again, this is where I return to, like, it being a burden. The scope of adapting Mary Shelley's book so faithfully, and in some ways not faithfully, reminds me of Coppola's Dracula and how that movie felt. It unfolds the story top to bottom, but by doing so, it hurts pacing most of all in a critical way. To be honest, I will say I even felt this slightly with Nosferatu, and I kind of commented. I remember us, commenting on that there was a sliver of disappointment around it, and I feel like all of that, it revolves around adapting these very old stories that, whether you've read them or not, you've kind of absorbed through modern storytelling. And you can still have all the authenticity in adapting that story, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can't, I don't know, and not change, but adapt a little bit. Like, not adapting the story, like adapt the to the medium it's being put through.
You gotta make a movie.
Yeah.
You gotta turn this into a movie. Now, Nosferatu, we were both quite pleased with.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
For sure.
absolutely. But I remember
you're
you asking, like, you sound a little disappointed with it,
Right.
and that's that same kind of thing of just like, well, I mean, there is a degree of been there, done that, and I just wish it had some shocks in story, it had some surprises to the movie specifically, to the directing even. So,
Can I make a point?
Yeah.
And what I liked about the film?
Sure.
Because I mean, I'm sorry about this.
Now Del Toro's a genius.
You won't hear me say those words.
Yeah.
But it is funny. I think this was kind of the movie I like most this week, which is shocking.
Yeah.
So first of all, this got laughed out of the room practically, by the way, in Venice Film Festival.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hated. Then it started to creep out. Then all of a sudden, people were like, it started getting good reviews.
Yeah, I heard people calling this best Del Toro.
It was winning audience awards at some other festival or something like that. And it was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
The absolute hate, I think, is not warranted.
No.
I honestly, in that first section, especially that first half, I thought this was visually his best film.
Okay.
I thought the way the movie actually looked, we were talking about his colors, we were talking about personally how I feel about his overglossiness or something like that. I enjoyed it the most in this film. I thought he got it down. I liked his colors. I thought it was good. I really thought it was kind of his best looking film, in my opinion. So I did appreciate that. The CGI is totally rough in some areas. In some areas, it's like, oh, this is just Del Toro. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
But sometimes in the year 2025, it's like, this is kind of rough. This is a little rough.
Yeah, it's obviously I don't have the technical skills to point to and say, why the CGI looks bad because I'm not like a CGI artist, I can't point to specific qualities, but I feel like this era of fast moving CGI, something is in like the blur effect of it. It looks even more fake than it ever would.
It might just be money it comes down to, but I mean his castle that he's at, like his lair, his laboratory.
The lair is ridiculous. I remember asking you, I was like, what was the explanation again?
I know.
This is something like insane asylum?
Makes no sense. But that doesn't look great. You know what I mean? And
I will say
there's some animals in it that don't look fantastic.
Sure. I do like how wild the steampunky elements. Like I look to
aesthetic.
The technology.
You're talking aesthetic.
Yes.
Different story.
And design is, I feel like, where Del Toro steps in. But I'm with you. I think the CGI also is shown to be a rough spot, though it's not like make or break. In the action, I kind of didn't love the action on this. Or in this.
Yeah.
This is where
disconnect.
Yeah, there's a disconnect. I will admit there is some effective, shocking moments that, of how ridiculous the overkills are in this. I mean, it seriously felt like something like God of War, or like Mortal Kombat.
Or Bloodline, or blood porn.
Yeah, a little
right?
Bloodborne.
So, I mean,
absolutely. Bloodborne works in, these type of...
Bloodline is a Netflix show. I forgot. I'm sorry. My wires crossed.
Netflix. I just thought the action was just by far the weakest.
Unwarranted again.
Yeah.
And again, and I bring this down to his... I think I told you this. I bring this down because he's such a jolly, happy man. I think he's kind of... I think you can show him something and he's like, oh my gosh, this is great, this is perfect. I think he's all about things. But I think if Del Toro was a dick in real life, I think we would be getting better art from him.
Interesting.
That's probably my hottest take.
I will say there is something you're hitting on. People talk about Miyazaki as Studio Ghibli, of how beautiful and lovely his films are and how soft the films are. And then you look at any interview with the man and he's like horribly depressed and he's like, oh man, art is dying.
And he's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there is something that you're hitting on there.
Listen, Jack White is not easy to work with, but his music is very good. You know? I mean, there is something there where I just think he's not that... I almost want to say that maybe he's too overly impressed. And so where he's just like, okay, we have this action sequence and we need some gore in here or something like that. Yeah, let's just do this. Let's do this. But as a viewer watching it, both of us in the room... They're just like, oh, okay, all right, he's doing that. It doesn't have the punch, the effect that you would want it to.
Yeah.
And it comes back to that whole unearned thing and going through my head.
Sure. No, I feel you. And again, I think where even like how you noted, like there are a lot of nitpicks, but they build up to something.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like just really my thoughts on this one, the biggest wound it suffers is just pacing. Straight up.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, if, I could say nothing else, and that pacing is where this score lands.
Which comes down to story writing, really.
Yeah,
I mean, the screenplay of this was just, man, that second half, it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because again, it's just 2.5 hours long. I don't know. You lost us.
Yeah.
He lost us.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot at play there. I think because the story is so old, we've like absorbed it, through modern stories. But there's a degree there of just like, wow, this was kind of boring, and I don't like that. I will curse up a storm. Boring is not what I like to say about any movie, any movie at all. I do have a bone to pick, though, and I'll make it real quick because I've talked about him a lot this episode, is Doug Jones. He got shafted by not being in this. This could have been a phenomenal capstone to their collaboration. And back when this project was somewhere in the ether of the Dark Universe, where Universal was greenlighting these gritty new remakes and trying to make a cinematic universe out of these old 1920s movies monsters.
What was it called again? It was called Dark Universe. Yeah.
And listen, it's no problem if that doesn't ring a bell because it was basically like
fell flat on its
exactly.
face.
It fell flat on its face. They never sold the idea of a cinematic universe.
Right.
So. But back when this was in the ether as just a project, that this was the Frankenstein project for that cinematic universe, guess who was the choice for Frankenstein? It was Doug Jones. I don't think I have nothing against Elordi. Or them making him like a sexy Frankenstein.
I think
I really don't.
I have a lot of...
I think he does a serviceable job here.
What do you think of the way he looks in general? Not, but even just the way they did prosthetics on him, the way the skin
like
grafting looks.
Corpse Bride. He's got like some blued skin and whatnot.
Right.
If anything, that's where it looks very Tim Burton.
I think because they made him very human looking, I think you needed to go sexy. So get Jacob Elordi.
I guess.
I think if you wanted to go full prosthetics crazy, then that's where Doug Jones comes in.
Exactly.
But Doug Jones cannot lead the Frankenstein film. If you're going to make it that humanoid.
I'm telling you, give him the chance.
Okay.
But listen, I mean, that's where it's a nitpick because it's ultimately me saying I wanted a different version of this. I'm not critiquing the movie itself.
Right.
Elordi does do a serviceable job.
But it is sexy Frankenstein.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if something's going to talk, it's going to be money. And I feel like there is a very real curiosity click that people have done on Netflix to check this out because they say, oh, didn't Del Toro make a movie where someone f***ed a fish? Are we going to see Elordi naked? You know what I mean? There's a more, morbid curiosity there that I feel like
aspect of that,
plays into the marketing.
That little
of
girl,
this
for sure. Yeah.
There's that is a marketing hook for this. So whether Doug Jones has to suffer from that, and not get work with his most loyal most loyal actor, man. That's where my beef is, Del Toro.
Yeah, that's your biggest beef.
Yeah, you turncoat. But very sadly, I would say I don't think this has been elevated much outside of those Dark Universe roots. When I look at this movie, and specifically the action, I by no means, I'm not saying this is as bad as Frankenstein, Tom Cruise Mummy. It's not. It really is not. But as it stands, this project might be a dream come true for Del Toro, but I think he has just done better on his own, trying to emulate the love of Frankenstein's story through his other projects. I feel like this pales in comparison to Del Toro wanting to make Frankenstein, but not having the license to do so.
Right. Yeah, he's always been chasing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's where I sit with it. But again, most of all, this movie, my mind was made up on this all around the pacing issues. I feel like it lives and dies on that. So if you're comfortable with the ride, maybe even to the point of Netflix, you break this up in your watching as far as streaming goes. Maybe that becomes a little bit more palatable. But for me, it really was truly a make or break. The critical flaw was the pacing and how this story unfolded. We're going to go ahead and give Frankenstein a 54.
Wow, a 54%, not hot at all.
Yeah, I really wasn't.
And listen, because by the end of it, the problem is it's on the second half of the film. So, by the end of it, you're just kind of drained.
Yes.
And you're left so, unenthused over it.
Yeah.
Which was
especially
both
covering the
reactions.
same thematic ground of let's show
Now,
a father figure, how this morphs someone. You know?
Again, I kind of like this the most this week. And it's probably, other than I truly love Pinocchio.
Yes.
I didn't love this film, but this would be the next one on my Del Toro list, believe it or not.
In a huge gap between.
Which is, it's just crazy. It's crazy to say, but we're in agreement in a lot of different ways on this one. I'm not going to give it a 2 shoes or anything like that, but I don't think it deserved the absolute hatred that it was getting when this first kind of started being talked about.
Agreed.
But that being said, just get ready for kind of a reboot to the film, and I actually see myself returning to this just for the first half.
Okay,
because I didn't hate it.
Right.
It is the story of Frankenstein.
It's a good rise,
and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
kind of following the book.
I feel you.
Other than that, it's a bit of a slog towards the end of it. But okay, so a 54% for Frankenstein. Vin, any other notes on these films? Any notes coming up next week? Roll credits. What do you want here?
Well, again, there is a lot left on the table for Del Toro. I don't know if he'll ever do a superhero movie that we could even fit in Blade and Hellboy.
Who knows?
Or even relatively comic-y. God knows when I can get around to Pacific Rim. I just may not have that opportunity until we get a Gundam late.
It's called the Daily Ratings. You could cover it next week if you wanted to.
Now that you say it, no. But I hope Del Toro just honestly keeps on going with the projects he actually wants to adapt. I feel like if there's any compass for these type of projects, is that he truly wants to make them. And again, going back to what I said, like a slightly different path in his career, we could see him making very different projects. So I think as long as that is his compass, I'm happy to review a Del Toro movie. So.
Okay. Well, Vin, as always, thank you so much for watching these, for all the notes here today, stopping by here. And folks at home, we'll just run it down one more time. We've got Pan's Labyrinth with a 75%, Crimson Peak with a 65%, The Shape of Water with One Shoe No Lace, but an 84% from Mr. Vincent Daly, and then Frankenstein with a 54%. It's always a blast, folks. Thanks for stopping by week after week, and we'll see you right back here next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.